Evaluation number 1 suggests in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products. Therefore, we're going to start off with speaking about my music video. My music video genre is the indie genre. Therefore, what I decided to do was follow the codes and conventions for my narrative part of the video. This idea was in fact taken inspiration from The Neighbourhood. This was because The Neighbourhood is all about black and white. They are the typical male indie band that you see around these days. However, for my performance element, I decided to try and break the codes and conventions and challenge them. Therefore, what I decided to do was by making it more warmer tone. I added some squares around each frame that the performance was on to try and add some sort of different look to it, as I wanted to make my work look a little unique and make it a little bit less boring for the performance parts. I also decided to add some red and blue tones. The whole red and blue tones were to break the conventions. However, there are some bands such as Imagine Dragons, as I've mentioned, that do actually have colours and shapes in their music videos or in their digipacks and posters. Another example is, in fact, Lana Del Rey. She does prefer having a lot of colours. The whole red and blue toned thing that I got was by starting off to have a band identity. I wanted each member from my music video to have a specific colour assigned to them. So I had the lead singer Russ in the colour blue. I had Tom, the drummer, in red, and I chose Tom to have red specifically because he is angry and upset, and I just wanted to connotate that colour to show in my video, and it also connotates love, which is obviously what his storyline is. I also decided to have Albie as yellow. This is purely because he's just kind of like the sidekick in the video. Like, he is the reason why the actions are caused. He's the bad influence on his brother, therefore I added him in yellow. So it's a more peaceful side to him, really. Like, he's not the bad guy, he's just being him, like that's who he is. Using Goodwin's theory, I decided to have obviously the narrative and the performance side. The narrative side is to send off a message to the audience. My hidden message within my music video is actually about alcohol awareness in young adults. I feel like I wanted to represent this in my music video, so that, because my target audience is young adults, so I wanted to try and make everyone a little bit more aware of what the consequences are, and you shouldn't be abusing the alcohol too much, even if you are put under a lot of stress, as it can make situations a lot worse. And then the narrative, the performance side, sorry, is all about getting to know the band, meeting them, who are they, because I feel like if I'd have made my video just the narrative, you wouldn't meet the band, and I feel like the band is really important within my music video because you need to know who they are and how they look to be able to match them to the digipack and the posters, or you won't know what it is all about. So I wanted to make a connection between all of them and add a little bit of synergy within my products. Also, talking about the colour scheme, how everyone has assigned colour to each other, I took the idea from the band Blur. They have an album cover, I believe it is, where there's 4 members all have a different colour, and I kind of took the idea of that. I would also say I'm slightly inspired by the Andy Warhol pop art stuff. Not really relevant to the indie genre, but as a creative student, that's where the idea slightly started off with. Therefore, I started to look into artists that had a similar idea in mind. And I know that Blur is also an old indie band, so I know that it still kind of matches, so my ideas did end up going in the right direction. I would also say that my performance side of the video is kind of inspired by the 1975. they have a lot of their music videos in their studio, so I wanted to keep that kind of modern style, I would say, within the genre. And then for the urban setting, I would say I was mainly inspired by Arctic Monkeys, as they end up travelling a lot, similar to The Neighbourhood as well. They end up travelling a lot on their music videos, and I also had taken ideas of the two bands that they go in the car, so I had some car elements as well to show like a little rebel side to them. Going off the track of just the two brothers, there's obviously the star theory that I've had to consider. My main singer is Russ, which is in The Colour Blue, and in my performance-based video I decided to have him a little bit more up close to the camera and have the two brothers in the background. So it shows that he is the main singer, like you need to pay attention to him. He's the one singing the song, like it's just completely about him really. So I also tried to have him on more of my posters and digipack photographs, tried to make him a bit more obvious that he's the lead singer, it's not just about the brothers. What I also decided to do was obviously challenge the conventions. I had to look into making my video a little bit different and not just as typical indie. So what I decided to do was look into some music video theories, and I had found Archer's theory, which is all about how fast some cuts are. Now in my music video I do have some fast-paced cuts to go in time with the beats. I feel like this is a little bit more important because to me personally and some of my family and friends, we all prefer when shots are in time with the beat, as it's more fun to watch and you get into the song a lot more, it makes it more enjoyable. So what Archer's theory is that he believes that fast-paced cuts and colours in music videos are a lot harder to interpret, which I disagree with that. Therefore I decided to go against that idea and put in my fast-paced cuts, which I do actually enjoy, and add in the colour, because even though indie is meant to be black and white, I feel like it would have looked a little too boring and maybe it wouldn't have shown off my skills enough for this task. And looking into the costumes, I decided to not only go off the genre but also go off the age. So as I mentioned before, the message is about alcohol awareness in young adults, so I needed to make sure that they looked like young adults within their costumes. So what I decided to do was, by having Russ look typically indie because he's the star image, so he wore his denim ripped jacket and then a nude jacket as well underneath. The colour nude is very modern these days, so that's why I kind of went for that sort of look. He also had some black ripped jeans, however you can't really see them too much in the video because it was about a mid shot. So yeah, but then the other two brothers in the background were more simple. For Tom, you could see that he is again wearing a cap as if he was wearing it in the narrative side. So that sort of personality is still shown within the performance element. He also wears a white top with a lion logo, which represents obviously bravery and stuff like that, which is the complete opposite of him because he's very shy, he's very laid back, doesn't like to be in drama or anything like that, he stays away from that stuff. So that just shows the opposite side to him and what maybe he wants to be. And then his brother, Albie, wears, and again, a white top, making it simple, with black font saying introvert, and the meaning of introvert is a shy person, which he is the complete opposite of, which I believe just shows their brothers' connections because they kind of want to be each other and they take their inspiration from one another. So along with my and Salou products, I decided to create two posters. I did two posters because I believe that one could be more to sell the album that's releasing from my band, and then the next one is for a tour. I didn't put these together because I feel like their aims are completely different. One's to sell the tour and one's to sell more the album. I know that they are related to one another, but I feel like they needed more space to focus on each aim really. So yeah, the posters were mainly inspired by Lana Del Rey, This is because she uses quite a lot of colour in them, and she makes it pop, makes it unique, like catches your eye because of how bright, vibrant the colours are on it. So that was my aim, and obviously I stuck with showing off my logo, obviously the band members, and the 3 primary colours that I used to represent each band member. I would also say I used the ideas of the neighbourhood and obviously the Arctic Monkeys. They both show a lot of urban settings within their digipacks, sometimes their posters, definitely their websites and their music videos. Therefore I try to like show some urban settings within the background. So one of my posters has the Neighbourhood's website was the one that mainly inspired me. This is because their website sticks to the codes and conventions of the indie genre, which is in fact black and white. So I decided to stick with that for my website as well, but I also added a little bit of colour to try and stick with obviously my colour scheme that I already did. So what I decided to do was have a urban setting of some clouds moving in the background. I'll insert a picture here on the side somewhere, and then it's got like a playlist of the band's music so you can listen to it. Unfortunately I wasn't able to change who the song was originally by, which is Imagine Dragons, so it does say it on my website, but if I could, which I can't, I would have done that. And then underneath you get the stuff about the band, like how they met and like what the aims are and stuff like that. And then further on I've got the music video, and then I've got like some like press info, their emails and contacts, and the contacts are also like set for each colour of the band so it matches that. And then it has the tour page where it also says no upcoming shows, to subscribe, put your email in here. So it's really simple, easy to navigate, which I believe is a lot easier for people to get into, especially when it's a new band, rather than making it too difficult to get onto and then putting some people off from going on the website again. For the digipack I had obviously 6 different panels. My first, album cover, would I say, is the logo that on my posters and on my merchandise. And then the back cover of the track list is in fact Russ, because obviously the star image, so I needed to make him on the back, try and like put him front and back so they're the ones that everyone sees before they buy the digipack. And then on the inside I decided to have one dark image with all 3 members overlaid, and this was inspired by one of Lana Del Rey's posters. When I first saw the poster before analysing it, I knew it was something that I wanted to take on board and try and interpret in my own way to creating it either for my own poster or for my digipack. And I really love this image. I feel like it does represent the whole band well because they're together, but then it also shows how separate they are and like the different personalities in them. And then I would say my digipack is very personal. This is because one of my panels shows a photograph of Albie, and then it has a message for the audience saying thank you for supporting us, and then it also has signatures underneath. Although these aren't real signatures, they've just been created online. It makes it look more appealing to the customer, I would say, because they feel more appreciated that they are supporting a new band. And then there's another cover which has a photograph of Tom playing the drums, like having fun, and it has one of the quotes from the song Amsterdam, which is my music video, and I believe it kind of like, the quote summarises their friendship really and how they became to be the band that they are, I would say. And then another panel is of some film strips. I decided to take this idea from my actual music video because there's elements of photographs in my music video, so I wanted to kind of stick on board with that and then use that idea for my posters as well. So I put each member with their specific colour identity on them, and then I added some images of them all together with the logo on as well. So overall I would say that I did stick to the codes and conventions in creating my media products. I did stick to the typical black and white. I stuck to the stereotypical indie costumes, which is quite simple, basic, a little bit old-fashioned slightly, messy hair and stuff like that. My mise-en-scene matches throughout all of my products, which I believe looks very professional, rather than taking photographs for my digipack and poster in different locations. Maybe it would have got some people mixed up. And I believe that if you see my poster in my digipack, it can also remind people, oh, they also have the music video Amsterdam, and it just all links together, which was my aim, and I'm really happy that I did that. Obviously I did challenge some forms as well within my products by creating the colour scheme and stuff like that, but I feel like sometimes if you go to the codes and conventions and you stick to them, it might make it a little bit boring, especially when it comes to a music video. You need to stick to something modern as well, so you need to sometimes challenge the codes and conventions and make something unique so that people can remember you really well. I'm really happy with my media products, and I do believe that they have developed and challenged the forms and conventions of my real media products.